Hi, welcome back. This is part 2 of our Mediterranean tour on Independence of the Seas. In this part we're going to show you a few of the places that we visited on our travels. We started in Southampton and, well, there she goes, straight across the Bay of Biscay. I wish we could have gone that fast. And our first port of call will be Gibraltar. Once we leave the tiny little town of Gibraltar, we will be moving on to Barcelona after a day at sea, and then from Barcelona moving swiftly up the coast into France and the beautiful little resort of Villefranche. After Villefranche, we are then travelling into Italy and on to the port of Civitavecchia, which is the destination for Rome. On the way back, we will be having a very brief call in Valencia, and after that we will be stopping in Malaga to soak up some of the sun and see some of the sights there. And then before we actually head back up the Bay of Biscay, we'll be stopping off in the little beautiful town of Cadiz, where I'm sure to get some last minute sun. So let's start. We crossed the Bay of Biscay, moved into the Strait of Gibraltar and headed up into the main port. So why don't you join us now as we tour our first port of Gibraltar.
Going up.
Certainly are. This is day 4 and it's our first port of call into Gibraltar. It's 7 in the morning. I'm feeling rather grotty, I don't know why. Probably because I didn't go to bed till 1. And
Deck 12.
I'm on my way up to the top deck to watch the sunrise with my children. Let's see how this works.
Going down.
We're going to give that a miss. Morning.
How are you, sir?
Fine, thank you. And you?
You want to go outside?
Oh, can we not go outside?
Too windy outside.
Oh, too windy?
Yeah.
Oh dear. I thought it sounded a bit windy. We better give that a miss then.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's better when you are not taking that.
Um.
Around the police.
Oh, can you go? You can go outside on the bottom deck, can you? Oh, okay. Just 12 you can't go on.
Just 12 is a little bit.
That's fair enough.
Yeah.
Very good. Thank you. Bye. I just preempted me there because I was just going to say I'm listening out of the balcony door and I can hear it's very, very windy this morning, and I didn't know whether I wanted to go out or not. Clearly, we're not allowed out. So now I'll just wait for another lift. And we'll head off down to 11. One thing you find with cruises is that you get very lazy, and instead of going down the stairs, you take the lift by one floor. What's all that about? And 4 days on and I still can't find a way out. Morning. Wow. They're not joking. I normally get up about 5 in the morning and come up on deck because that way I'm the only one. And this is the first morning I've got up. And there's been blazing music everywhere. I've come up for a bit of peace and quiet. What's all this about? Morning. Oh my God, listen to that. Nobody in the hot tub this morning. Now before you all get scared, it's not particularly rough today. The ship's hardly moving at all, but it is very, very windy. As you can probably tell. I mean, this is amazing. This is our 9th cruise, and this is the first time we've had winds this strong. You'll be lucky if you see any dolphins. We once went across the Bay of Biscay. It was like a scene out of a war film. The ship that was following down behind us kept disappearing under the waves and then coming back up again. That's Africa. That's Morocco over there. This time at morning when we come, last time, we were actually pulling up at Gibraltar.
Pringles!
You want Pringles? It's like some Pringles. Oh, where's Morrison? I can't see that. The two hotels in the middle of a tiny building.
Morrison. We've
I
travelled
can't see it.
Yeah, look.
990 nautical miles to find a Morrison.
Northern supermarket.
Dad, was that apple?
Oh.
Raven too?
The little one there.
It's a wave. It's not like that.
No price, if there's no price.
Okay, so a quick day at sea, and then it's to port of Barcelona. It's a bit bright down here. Yeah.
Giovanna, l'Independence?
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Yeah, they were the good old days. How's it bigger than yours? 20 years time we'll be shouting, size don't matter, size don't matter.
What?
Oh, right, right.
They are about the same height as us, to be fair. Just not length. Yeah, that's what I'm
Not that one, the end of it.
Is this one bigger than us?
Yeah, I could do a little gap.
That's where it was come from, where that white bird is.
Yeah, it's a long way, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, to see. So, after an absolute beautiful day in Barcelona, it's onwards and upwards towards the French coast and into the little coastal town of Villefranche for Nice and Monaco. Villefranche is a popular little French resort tucked between the larger resorts of Nice on one side and Monaco on the other, both within easy reach by taxi or train, 12 minutes by train, half an hour by taxi maybe. We visited Monaco in 2015 from Villefranche by taxi, can thoroughly recommend it. So on this occasion, Sue decided that she was going to stay on board. She's not overly keen on tenders. I decided I was going to have a walk around the little coastal town of Villefranche. The girls and their partners had wanted to go to Monaco. They were going to catch the train, which is only 12 minutes and €9, I believe. But the arrival time, although it was reasonable in the morning, by the time we'd actually got off of the ship, because of the long tender queues, it was lunchtime. Now, with the best will in the world, getting up to Monaco by train and getting back in time to catch the horrendous tender queues to get back on the ship at 3 o'clock, it just wasn't viable. So instead of the dream trip to Monaco, which the guys have been looking forward to, we ended up all having a very nice morning on the beach in Villefranche. Say bonjour. Bonjour. Oh, that was very
You can't smile and say
bonjour. Oh, you get yourself a new hat.
Ah, look at the fishies.
Careful.
One way to make sure you get back on time. Rent your own boat.
You'd have to swim the last 250 metres. Good morning. Welcome to day 8, and we're just pulling into Civitavecchia, where most people will be leaving to go to Rome today. I'm feeling a bit self-conscious of standing here talking to a camera while everybody's looking at me, so I've snuck up onto a deck where I know nobody will be today, at least not at this time in the morning. It's going to be a beautiful day, as you can see. The sun's coming up, there's not a cloud in the sky. This is the 4th time we've been to Rome. Been to actual Rome twice, once by train, once by bus, which we'll discuss later. Once we stayed on the ship. So today we thought we would trek off and have a look at the actual town. We're not the first to arrive here today. We've already got our good old friend the Ventura. First time we've seen the P&O ships with the Union Jack livery, which actually I think is quite nice. Sort of reminiscent of the old British Airways, and nothing wrong with that. This morning I managed to actually beat the coffee. Now, I didn't think you could beat the coffee. I thought the coffee was on 24 hours. But I headed off to the cafe this morning. I won't say which one. I don't want to get anybody into trouble if he was late. And it was well past 7 o'clock and the coffee's not even out. And I had to wait for it to brew. Second thing I've learned, that if you're going to get into this vlogging, as I'm told it's called, you've got to be committed to it. And I'd seen out the window this morning on the balcony that there were already 2 ships in, and I thought this is going to be a brilliant piece of filming, sliding in between the 2 ships. But I decided to go for coffee, and by the time the coffee had brewed and I came upstairs, we were already here. Amazing how fast these ships move. So that's the second thing I've learned today. If you're serious about it, put the filming before the coffee. You might be able to see behind me that as I'm talking we're doing a slow 360 turn. Captain obviously wants to face the opposite direction when he leaves tonight. I don't see many ships reversing out of the ports, and it always amazes me how you can turn these things round on a sixpence and he'll slide in between 2 other ships better than most people can parallel park. So anyway, it's soon breakfast. I'll go and grab the cup of tea for the missus and we'll get off up to breakfast, and then follow me and we'll go and have a look around the town. Hold it down.
Silly phone.
What if you want the spelling? It's C-I-V.
Alan, let me get that out then. C-I-V.
I-T-A.
Hey, don't go too fast because it'll only spell it wrong. C-I-V.
I-T-A. V-E-C C-H-I-A.
When we walked in, we never found him. He walked into taxis.
Quite a good one in there. I mean, you know, they say buses should only take 5 minutes to walk.
So, our next port of call is Valencia in the Spanish coast, and a place that we're actually quite looking forward to seeing, having not been there before. What we hadn't spotted was the actual arrival and departure times, which were very early in both directions. So we arrived at about 7:30 in the morning, not that we was up at that time, and checking out the destination guide, we saw indeed that Valencia is quite a sprawling city, and not somewhere that you're going to look at in a couple of minutes. The city centre is 4 kilometres from the cruise port, which means there's a shuttle involved. The shuttle bus service was €10 each. Wasn't quite sure whether that was for a return ticket or not. And it's about a 30 or 40 minute round trip apparently. Actually it leaves at 1:45. You don't want to be the last bus, of course. You want to make sure you're in the queue well before then. There are taxis, of course, at the cruise terminal, but actually to get to the cruise terminal you've got to catch a shuttle. The taxis are 25 to 30 euros each way, so you're looking at a 60 euro round trip maybe. What they do point out is the shuttles and the taxis are limited, and of course the thing to do is join one of the Royal Caribbean shore excursions, because that way you can guarantee you're going to get back. So, having calculated all this out, we did a quick bit of a timetable and realised that, taking into account the shuttle to terminal, the taxi, we wanted to be back on ship about 1:30, and so if you backtrack all that, basically we're going to have about 2.5 hours in Valencia, and believe me, that's not very far, the speed that we walk these days. So for this reason and this reason alone, we decided that we were going to give Valencia a miss reluctantly and stay on board ship and enjoy the day on the ship, which is exactly what we did. So unfortunately I can't show you much of Valencia because we didn't see it. So onwards to our next port of call, which is Malaga.
Well, they were nearly getting a complaint last night. What did you get?
Right. Big smile, big wave.
Don't wave, just got my hands full.
Oh, okay then. Don't wave. Nobody waves. Nobody smile.
Very good.
Now, we love Malaga, and as much as we'd love to have stayed for a lot longer, unfortunately we got rained off about lunchtime, so set off back to the ship. So what I thought I would do is just give you a quick glimpse of some of the stuff that we've seen there before, including the horse and cart rides around the park, the Park de la Alameda itself in the middle of Malaga, which is absolutely beautiful. It's full of beautiful flowers, trees, statues, and exotic buildings all the way around it, and lots of wildlife for the children or the adults to see. Lots of statues. It's just a beautiful place to sit and watch the world go by, and it's absolutely crammed full of parrots. They are everywhere. So if you don't like that, I would suggest you go down onto the promenade and just watch the world go by with a cup of coffee down on the beach, or a beer. So it has a beautiful beach if you fancy spending time on the sand, and the beach is right next door to the port. It's 10 minutes walk, so no hardship there. Onwards to Cadiz.
I got a feeling when all this moves.
I don't know. It's a big one. That's it, last time we see land before we're home. Mm.
It's a weird thing. No, we don't talk back for us.
Coming up in part 3, we find time to relax and have fun in the sun on our days at sea. Maybe not. We spend far too much time in the casino. I managed to get my paints out. We get serenaded in the main dining room. And we take in some of the West End quality shows, and a movie under the stars, if I can find the footage.